Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. The Waco History Podcast is sponsored by Brotherwell Brewery on historic Bridge Street in Waco.
Welcome to the Waco History Podcast. We're going to air for you over the next few months a special series of Waco History Living Stories. These were segments that were originally aired on KWVU here in Waco. They were produced by the Institute for Oral History editor, Michelle Holland, and narrated by two fabulous narrators, Louis Maze and Kim Patterson. And so these highlight oral histories from the collection of the Institute for Oral History at Baylor University, which I direct, which has been around since 1970 and has over 1,000 interviews related to Waco and McLennan County history, and we're happy to highlight those here. The best way to take a break from the Texas heat is summertime swimming. Let's hear some living stories, vignettes about that.
Swimming is a favorite summer activity in Texas, as it provides respite from sweltering temperatures. Charles Armstrong grew up in the Bells Hill area of Waco and describes where he and other boys would go to cool off.
And from 29th Street over where the Baylor Stadium is now, there was a fence across there, and it wasn't anything but mesquite patch up there where the stadium is. And it had, back over by the railroad track, had a creek come through there, and it's pretty clear water, and had a swimming hole up there called Little Lake. Mm-hmm. And we'd go up there and go swimming in Little Lake. And you had to cut across that pasture there by where the stadium is, and get out to it.
The swimming hole was isolated, and the boys were very informal, as Armstrong explains.
If you had some swimming trunks, fine. If you didn't, fine. You could go in naked or whatever. And when the train come on, we all got it and traded for them, as they come by, and sitting there, quiet tablecloths on them tables, and little things like we keep on the table here, look like a little lamp or the candle lamps, sitting on the table, and people all dressed up in suits, and they were standing there naked, waving at them. But we did that many, many times.
Alva Stem, former director of Waco Parks and Recreation, remembers the role of swimming in his childhood in Waco.
My father worked for the police department as a detective, and they were given a pass to the municipal swimming pool or the beach over on North 4th Street. This was a season pass to go swimming free. And so my brother Jack and I, always went down to the swimming pool once a day to go swimming. Later on in the years, when I became about 12 years old, I was hired as the basket boy. And the basket boy is a young man that takes the baskets that they had there, and they would give to the patrons to put their clothes in when they changed into their bathing suits. Then it was my job to put their baskets in the proper numbers in the proper location in the basket room at the swimming pool, and to give the patrons their basket when they came back.
John Lott Jr. of Goliad recalls that escaping the heat was sometimes a family affair.
Well, we went to the river every summer for about a month. Cousin Henry and Cousin Ella and Virginia May, Aunt Helen and Happy and Butch and our family, and had Hattie and Hatch, and we had tents, and we camped down there at the bend. And Cousin Willie even came down and made a swimsuit out of a gunny sack, cut holes in it, and put his feet in it, and rolled it up and tied it around here. And we had a diving board and a swing. I know we had Dad made a canvas house partitioned with canvas to where women and men could put on their bathing suits.
Swimming helps make the summers in Texas bearable and more enjoyable. That initial splash every time erases all discomfort from the stifling heat.
Thanks for listening to the Waco History Podcast. Like what you heard? Subscribe, rate, and review our show on iTunes so we can reach more listeners. You can find show notes and info on every episode at wacohistorypodcast.com and more info on Waco's past at wacohistory.org. Our theme music, used with permission, is Cross the Brazos at Waco, performed by the late Billy Walker. For more info on Billy's music, go to billywalker.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.